Hi students, good morning. This is SK sir. Today I am going to introduce you that is a 10th class chemistry and we will study the 10th class chemistry in the IIT level. Okay. So the first chapter from this 10th standard is chemical equation and chemical reactions. So normally in some states this is chemical equation. In NCERT, that chapter is chemical equation and chemical reaction. So this chapter you can helpful to study the NCERT and Telangana State Board and Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, whatever the state board, and the little bit is equal all boards. So if you watch this video, then you will be very clear what is the chemical equation, what is a chemical reaction, how to write the chemical formula and how to balance the chemical equation. Okay. So today we are start that is the chemical equation chapter for the 10th class. And here what boards, whatever the state board, and here CBS board. Okay. See here before we going to start this chapter. So what are the concepts we will cover in these chapters are, see what is the chemical reaction, that is chemical change, and what is the chemical equation, how to write the chemical equation, and how to balance the chemical equation. Okay. See here before we going to start this chapter, so there are two changes in the matter. So here matter, that is every matter having the two properties. One is a physical property and chemical properties. For example, if you take any substance, for example this one, what is the physical properties? Physical properties, see this is the marker is a solid and it has a white and black color. Okay. So these are the appearance and this is the size. This is the what spherical shape. So shape, size and physical state and color, these are the physical properties. What we will study? The physical change. So what is the physical change? Very simple. The process in which no new substance are formed is known as the physical change. In that process only the physical state like solid to liquid, liquid to vapors, like that physical state is changed but not chemical properties. For example, see this is the liquid water. So if you freeze, so you will get here what? Ice. But ice having the water molecules, that is the chemical formula, and liquid also water molecule. For example, if you melt, see, if you melt this, again you will get what? Liquid water, liquid H2O. So all having the same chemical formula, H2O, H2O and H2O. It means chemical properties are not changed but physical state, liquid to solid, solid to liquid. And if you heat this liquid, see, if you heat here, so we will get what? Vapors. Vapors. Again, vapors also contain what? Water molecules. It means chemical composition does not change, but physical state is changed. Understood? So what is the physical change? The process in which no new substances are formed is known as a physical change. And physical change is what? Is it temporary or permanent? Temporary change. So you can at any stage you can reverse the process. Are you getting my point? For example, once you liquid is converted into ice, you can easily change this solid ice to liquid. It means a reversible process. And it is what? It is not yet permanent. If you convert the water into ice, if you put the ice in the open place, slowly it is melted to the liquid. It is a temporary process. Understood? Okay, right then the physical change, the definition, then I will give you some examples for the physical change. Make it fast. Okay, now see some examples for the physical change. So what is the physical change? The process in which no new substances are formed. Only the physical state is changed. Now for example, see boiling of water. So if you boil the water, that liquid water is converted into vapors. So that vapors having the same chemical formula H2O water. And this liquid also having the same formula H2O. So if you cool the vapors, that vapors converted into liquid. So it is a what? Temporary change. Only physical state is different, liquid to vapor. So boiling of water. Now next, cutting of papers. So if you cut the one big paper into small pieces, paper is same. That nature of the paper is paper only, but only it is what, break it into small pieces. That is a physical change. Crushing of bottle. Suppose if you crush this marker, you will get the powder form. Otherwise, you will get the small pieces. But that is a plastic. Originally it is plastic, and after breaking also it is plastic. Okay, now see, melting of ice. That is, if the ice is melted, it is converted into liquid. But the ice and liquid having the same taste and contain the same formula, that is H2. And sugar dissolved in water. See, initially the sugar having the solid state, that is the sugar crystals. So when you dissolve in the water, that sugar crystals dissolve in the water, and if you taste that water has a sweet taste. That water also contains sugar molecules only. But physical state of sugar changed from solid to liquid. Now this is a stretching of rubber. If you rubber has a elastic in nature. If you stretch the rubber, so it becomes too lengthened. And if you remove the force and it come back to original position, it means stretching of rubber is also one physical change. Are you getting my point? Okay, these are the physical changes. Next, see, what is a chemical change or chemical reaction? See, any process, the process in which new substances are formed with the properties unlike means what, different to those of the original substances, is called chemical change or chemical reaction. Are you getting my point? In this process, you get the product. The properties of the products are totally different than the reactant. For example, if see, ripening of mangoes. Initially, so when it is unripe mangoes, if you eat, so it has a sour taste. But after ripening, so it becomes sweet because it is sugar, sucrose it having sweet taste. It means ripening of food, ripening of mangoes is also chemical change. For example, rusting of iron. So in presence of water and moisture, our iron, what windows like, that is the body of the bus and lorries, it becomes rusted. The rusted metals does not have any value. It means you cannot convert that rusted iron into original iron. So that is a permanent change. That is a chemical reaction takes place. Are you getting my point? For example, chemical change is a permanent change. Most of the chemical reactions are the what, permanent. Some processes are reversible process. For example, digestion of food. If you eat the food, so in our stomach, it undergoes digestion by using different catalysis, different enzymes. Okay, finally that food is converted into glucose. So that glucose absorbed from our stomach through the villi into our blood. So you cannot convert that glucose into the food again, because that is due to the chemical change. The original product is converted into different product. That product has a different chemical properties than the reactant. Are you getting my point? So here it is, what is the chemical change? The process in which new substances are formed with the properties unlike to those of the original substance is called chemical change or chemical reaction. Understood? For example, see, you can write here example. See here, with rusting of iron. Okay, it is a permanent change. And for example, see first, second example, digestion of food. Digestion of food is also chemical change. Okay, right, and I will give the more examples. See here, some more examples for chemical change. That is, the first is what, rusting of iron, the digestion of food. Next is third, the process of respiration. In the respiration, what happened? So when you breathe, the oxygen enter into your lungs. In that lungs, the hemoglobin bind with the oxygen. The hemoglobin took the oxygen to our cell organelles, mitochondria. The mitochondria oxidation reaction will take place. That is the burning of glucose molecule, and you will get the energy. This is also what? Chemical change. That is a respiration process. Fourth, for example, see here, ripening of mangoes. Ripening of mango. So unripe mango has a sour taste, but ripening mango has a sweet taste. It means properties are different. In the chemical change, the properties of the products are different than properties of the reactant. See, the next is the adding of lime to water. What happened here? Lime means what? That is calcium oxide. So when you add to water molecule, so that calcium oxide, lime is converted into calcium hydroxide. This is a permanent change. So this calcium hydroxide is having the different chemical properties as compared to the calcium oxide. Okay. Now see, for example, sixth one. So tell me any examples. See, the next is the sixth one, breaking of milk. Otherwise, you can say that formation of curd from milk. See, next is formation of curd from milk. It is also chemical change. Once the curd formed from the milk, you cannot convert the curd into milk back again. Understood? These are the chemical changes. So in the chemical changes, what happened? The new substances are formed, and the properties of that new substances are totally different from original substance. This is called the chemical change. Okay, now we will see some activities. From that activities you can conclude whether the chemical reaction has takes place or not. That is activity 1, that is dissolving of lime. Dissolving of, see here, dissolving of lime in water. This is the first activity. See here, very simple. Take a 1 gram of lime in the beaker. So this is, suppose 1 gram of lime. So what is the lime here? Lime means this is a what? Calcium oxide. This is a calcium oxide. And add the water. See, this is a water, around 100 ml of water. Add into this beaker. So now you will get here water. What is the formula of water here? See, H2O. What is the calcium oxide formula? Calcium oxide, CaO. So when you add this water to this 1 gram of lime, so you will get here one solution, because that lime is dissolved in the water. Now you will get the here one solution you will get. Okay. For example, if you consider this is calcium oxide A and this is calcium oxide, sorry, this is the water is B. Now both will react and you will get one new compound, that is C. This is what? New compound, new substance. Okay. Now you are getting one new solution here. This water react with calcium oxide and this is called calcium hydroxide. And if you touch this beaker, you feel very hot because some amount of energy is released. Are you getting my point? Because this is exothermic reaction. Some amount of energy is released. Okay, this beaker now become hot. Okay, so you can represent this reaction in the formula. See, so you don't know formula, I am writing in the word form. See here, calcium oxide plus water. So water react with calcium oxide and you are getting here, that is calcium, see, calcium hydroxide, and some amount of heat is released. See, this calcium hydroxide is what? Hydroxide means this is a base. You must have studied in 7th, 8th standard what is base, NaOH, calcium hydroxide is available. Calcium hydroxide. Okay, this is the basic in nature because it is a base. So if you test this solution, so if you dip the red litmus paper into this solution, that red litmus paper is converted into blue litmus paper. So here see, red litmus paper is converted into blue litmus. So it means this indicate this is a basic in nature. And here what? Some amount of energy is released. It means this reaction is known as what? Exothermic reaction. Here what? Heat is released. It means this is called exothermic reaction. Exothermic reaction means what? The reaction in which the energy is evolved. That is called exothermic reaction. What is the endothermic reaction? The reaction in which the energy is absorbed is known as endothermic reaction. Okay, this is the activity. So by this activity we conclude that A is react with B, you are getting new substance, that is C. Because water, you can drink the water because the water is neutral. So but when this react with calcium oxide, you are getting calcium hydroxide. So calcium hydroxide you cannot drink now because it is a basic in nature. Now the water, the properties of water totally changed. See, initially if you dip the red litmus paper into water, that is no change in the color because it is a neutral. But when it is reacted with calcium oxide, then the chemical reaction takes place and new substance, that is calcium hydroxide, is formed. That calcium hydroxide has a basic in nature. So if you dip the red litmus paper in that solution, that the red litmus paper is converted into blue litmus paper. It means the product having the different chemical properties as compared to the original water molecule. Understood? So this is one example for the chemical change. Okay, write down. Okay, now let's see the second activity. It is a very simple activity. Don't confuse by this diagram here. Very simple. This is the first case. This is case 1 and this is case 2. So in the what first? So here dissolve the sodium sulfate. What is the formula of sodium sulfate? Sodium Na2. You know that how to write the formula. You must have studied in the 9th and how to write chemical formula. And also in this lecture I will explain how to write the chemical formula based on valencies. So take the few gram of sodium sulfate and dissolved in the 100 ml of water. See, this is a sodium sulfate. When you add this water and the sodium sulfate is dissolved in this water and you will get the sodium sulfate solution. This is what? Colorless. There is no color. Colorless solution. Okay. In the second beaker again dissolve the barium chloride in the 100 ml of water. Then you will get the barium chloride solution. This is also colorless. This is also colorless. It means we are taking two beakers. This is what? Beaker 1 and this is what? Beaker 2. So in the beaker 1 we dissolve sodium sulfate in the 100 ml of water. We are getting a sodium sulfate solution. In the beaker 2 we are dissolving barium chloride in the 100 ml of water. We are getting what? Barium solution. Both are colorless. Now see what I am doing here. So this barium chloride solution, when you mixed with the sodium sulfate solution, see barium chloride and sodium sulfate, when you mix, see this one and this one, if you mix this one, are you getting my point? So what I am mixing here? Barium chloride, sodium sulfate solution I am mixing with barium chloride solution, BaCl2. Are you getting my point? This is what? Sodium sulfate. So when sodium sulfate solution when mixed with barium chloride solution, see here you are getting the chemical, due to the chemical reaction, this sodium is combined with Na, that is chloride, sodium chloride you will get, and this barium is combined with sulfate. And the new product is forming, that is barium sulfate. This is a precipitate. This is called actually white precipitate. Precipitate means PPT, precipitate. and here what? NaCl, that is sodium chloride is forming. Sodium chloride. See, the sodium chloride has a different chemical properties as compared to sodium sulfate and barium sulfate. And see here color change, white precipitate you are getting, and barium sulfate having the different chemical properties. Then barium chloride and sodium sulfate. So now this is the chemical reaction takes place. The color of the solution is changed. You are getting what? Barium sulfate. This is a what? What is the name of this compound? This is called barium sulfate. Okay. So when sodium sulfate solution is mixed with barium chloride, so you are getting what? Barium sulfate white precipitate. Okay. This is a, by this activity we can conclude that there is a chemical reaction has taken place. Why? Because white precipitate is formed. But because both are colorless solution, when you mix this solution, you are getting white precipitate. It means some chemical reaction has taken place. That's why we got the white precipitate. That is the barium sulfate. Okay, this is the second activity. In this activity, what we done? See, take one beaker, dissolve the sodium sulfate in 100 ml of water, and take the another beaker, dissolve the barium chloride in the 100 ml of water, and mix the both solution. Sodium sulfate solution and barium chloride solution. You are getting new compound, that is barium sulfate. So this is called what? One chemical reaction. This is the second activity. Write down. Okay, now see third activity. So in this activity, see here, take a zinc granules in the conical flask. This is a conical flask. Take a zinc granule in the conical flask and about add the 5 ml of dilute HCl. Okay. So what is happening? See, when the hydrochloric acid when add to the zinc granules, there is a chemical reaction takes place. And see, you can see the bubbles. Some gas is evolved. That gas is what? H2 gas. So when you put the burning matchstick, this is what actually burning matchstick. When you put near the mouth of the conical flask, this H2 gas catch the fire and immediately you can hear that is a pop sound. So it means the H2 gas catch the fire and you will get pop sound like. Why? Due to this evolution of H2 gas, this burning matchsticks gives the pop sound. Why? This hydrogen gas catch the fire and gives the pop sound. Okay, this is the one activity to show the chemical reaction. It means in some chemical reactions gas is also evolved. In some before that, in the first activity some heat is evolved out. So in this reaction also, this is also exothermic reaction. If you touch this conical flask, you feel hot because some amount of energy is released here. See what is the chemical reaction in this flask? See the zinc granules. See here, zinc when treated with hydrochloric acid. This is what? Hydrochloric acid. So hydrochloric acid react. See what is the zinc? Zinc represents Zn. Hydrochloric acid means what? HCl. So react with zinc and you will get the zinc chloride, and here H2 gas is evolved out. This H2 gas and some amount of heat is also released. Okay, this H2 gas will catch this burning matchstick fire and you will get the pop sound. This is another activity to represent the chemical reaction. So in this reaction what happened? Zinc reacted with hydrochloric acid, zinc chloride is formed and H2 gas is evolved out. So permanent, it means the properties of this zinc chloride is different from zinc and HCl. So these are the some activities to represent the chemical reaction has taken place. Okay. See here we studied three activities, that is first is what? Lime in water, second is mixing of sodium sulfate and barium chloride, and third is what? Zinc granule HCl. So by observing these chemical reactions, what is the conclusion? See here we can conclude that during the chemical reaction some changes are takes place. So what are the changes which are takes place during the chemical reaction? See here, changes during the chemical reaction. Changes during the chemical chemical reaction. Now tell me, what are the changes has been seen here? See, first change, the chemical properties, chemical properties of original substance is lost. Chemical change या chemical reaction, chemical change is maybe exothermic or endothermic. Exothermic means heat is evolved. Endothermic means heat is absorbed. See, in the chemical reaction, gas may be evolved. Now, fourth change is they may form an insoluble substance that is called precipitate. They may be formed insoluble substance is called PPT. PPT means what? Precipitate. Okay, these are the four changes you can see in the chemical reaction. The first change is what? The chemical properties of original substance is lost. And second is what? Chemical change may be exothermic or endothermic. It means energy is evolved or absorbed. And the third is gas may be evolved. And the fourth is they may be formed insoluble substance is called precipitate. In second activity we saw that when sodium sulfate is reacted with barium chloride, we are getting what? Barium sulfate, white precipitate, insoluble white precipitate. So it means during the chemical reactions some changes are takes place. Okay, by these changes we can easily conclude whether the chemical reaction has takes place or not. Okay, so these are the some activities to represent the chemical reaction. Now we will see how to write the chemical reaction and what are the reactant and what are the product and how to balance the chemical equation. Okay, first completed. Okay, the next is our topic is this one, chemical equation. What is the chemical equation? So before I define this chemical equation, see, in activity 1, what we have done, that is in the activity 1, a calcium oxide, that is lime, is dissolved in the water. This is the water, and after mixing these two, after reaction takes place, and we got calcium hydroxide. Actually, see, so every time to write the word form, this is a sentence, it is difficult to represent the chemical reaction. See, calcium hydroxide, water, and calcium hydroxide, it will take time. Are you getting my point? So to represent the chemical reaction in the sentence form, it is a little bit difficult. So that's why we will use one shortcut method, that is called chemical equation. So what is the chemical equation? Means what? Chemical equation is a symbolic representation of the chemical change or chemical reaction in the form of symbols or formula. So what is so you can represent this one in the short method, that is what? Calcium hydroxide. Write the formula of calcium oxide. See, this is calcium oxide. And what is the formula of water? H2O. You are getting. And what is the formula of calcium hydroxide? Write the symbol calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide means what? OH. And twice. This is the what? Symbolic representation. This is called chemical equation. This is called chemical equation. So chemical equation means what? So chemical equation is a symbolic representation of chemical change or chemical reaction in the form, which form? In the form of the symbols and formula. Okay, so what is the chemical equation? It is a symbolic representation of chemical change or chemical reaction in the form of symbols, like calcium oxide is a symbol and is a formula, like formula. Understood? So this is the chemical equation. So for example, this is the first one. In the second activity, what we have done? See, it is very simple. That is in second activity. Sodium. See, sodium sulfate when reacted with barium chloride. So you are getting here barium sulfate plus sodium chloride. See how much time it will take. See, so and it is very difficult to write sodium chloride, barium chloride like that. So you can easily represent this chemical reaction. This is our chemical reaction. So I am representing this chemical reaction in the simple way, that is called chemical equation. See, write the symbol, that is the formula of sodium sulfate. What is the sodium sulfate? Na2SO4. See, very simple. Barium chloride. What is the barium chloride? BaCl2. Okay. Now here this is the reactant. I will tell you what is the reactant and what is the product. And this is the arrow we called. And we are getting what? Barium sulfate. BaSO4. Then sodium chloride. See, NaCl. So this is called chemical equation. Understood what is the chemical equation here? Chemical equation is a symbolic representation of the chemical change or chemical reaction in the form of symbols and formula. Understood? Write down. Okay, now see in the third activity. What we done here? See, zinc granules. So write in the wording form. Zinc when react with hydrochloric acid, you will get here zinc chloride plus hydrogen gas. So this is the word chemical equation. Sorry, actually this is a chemical change. This is one chemical reaction. But I wrote in the wording form. This is the sentence form. So we have to represent this chemical change in the symbolic representation. That is called chemical equation. Zinc means zinc Zn. Hydrochloric means HCl. So zinc chloride means ZnCl2. And H2 gas means H2 gas. It is very simple to write this equation. So that's why to express the chemical change, the chemical reaction, we have to use the chemical equations. It is very convenient to study the chemistry. Here see, what is the reactant and what is the product? Here this is called one arrow. This is called arrow. So the substance which are present the left side of the arrow, this left side of the arrow, these are called reactant. In the exam they will ask the definition. What is the reactant? Define reactant, give one example. And the compounds, the substances which are present right side of the arrow, this is the right side of the arrow, this is called what? Products. Okay, so it is very simple. The substance which are left side of the arrow is called a reactant. The substance which are right side of the arrow is called the product. But actually what is the definition of the reactant? See, reactant, the substance which undergo chemical change. Who is undergo chemical change? This one, because zinc, initially this is the zinc we are taking, and that zinc is reacting with HCl, and after some chemical reaction, after mixing, we are getting new products. But initially these are the products. Initially these are the original substance. Then after reaction you are getting the new products. These new products are formed. They are called product. And the substance which undergo chemical change is called reactant. So what is the reactant here? Very simple. I am now writing the reactant definition. See, the substances which are undergo chemical change, are called reactants, which are represent left side of the arrow. So what are the products? The new substances are formed in the chemical reaction. Are called products. Okay, so this is the chemical reaction and this is the reactant, this is products. Okay, now I will explain the actually how to write this chemical formula. Still some students are not know how to write zinc chloride formula, sodium sulfate, the sodium phosphate, ferric sulfate, because you might have studied in 9th standard. I think so you forgot all the things. So meanwhile I will explain how to write the chemical formula based on valency. Okay, first complete it. So I will explain the how to write the chemical formula. After that we will see the balancing of chemical equation. What is the balanced chemical equation, unbalanced chemical equation, then law of conservation of mass. Okay, write down. Okay, now see here how to write chemical formula. Okay, see here how to write. So before we write this one, first you have to know that what is the valency. You already studied in the 9th standard. So it means valency means the every element have some particular capacity to bind with other elements. So that is called the valency. So it is very simple. The capacity, the binding capacity of an element to with other elements is known as the valency. So what is the valency? The binding capacity of an element with other elements is called valency. Actually, the binding capacity of element for a different element is different. That is based on octet rule. So you may study deeply about the valency in the further classes. For the time being, I will give the binding capacity of some element. You have to remember that binding capacity. See, what is the valency here? The binding capacity of an element with other elements is called valency. For example, if you take the hydrogen, the binding capacity of hydrogen is 1. If you take the chlorine, the binding capacity is also 1. It means chlorine bind with only one other elements. For example, if you take oxygen form the 2 bonds. They combine with the 2 other elements. Binding capacity is 2. For example, fluorine is 1. If you take the nitrogen, the binding capacity of nitrogen is what? 3. It forms the 3 bonds with other elements. So see, the binding capacity of carbon is 4. You have to remember this binding capacity of different element. Okay. See, after one more is what is the ion? So what is ion? Ion means it is what? The charged species which is formed by loss or gain of electron is known as ion. Ions are 2 types. Cation means positively charged and anions means negatively charged. See, what is ions? The charged charged species which are formed by loss or gain of electrons is called ions. Okay, see for example sodium. If you take the sodium, the atomic number of sodium is 11, so it lost only one electron. Actually, to get the octet, 8 electrons in the valence shell, but just consider just it lost only one electron. If it is lost one electron, so it means when the electron loses, it gets a positive charge because one electron it is lost. It means this is a positively charged. And for example, this positively charged ion is known as a cation. For example, if you take the chlorine gain one electron, so it become to negatively charged ion. So this is negatively charged ion is known as anion. Okay, positively charged ions are known as cations and negatively charged ions are known as anions. Okay, write down. Okay, now we'll see some list of cation or anion. See, consider here cations. Here I am writing some cations. First is H plus. This is called hydrogen ion, cation. Na plus, sodium ion. Every time you are getting ion, but I am not. Hydrogen ion, sodium ion. Okay. Now this is C. K plus. That is called potassium ion, and Ag plus. This is called silver. All are having the net single positive charge. This is called monovalent ions. If positive charge is +2, then it's a divalent. It means here the +1 means the valency is 1. If the +2 means what? Divalent, the valency is 2. +3 means trivalent, the combining capacity is 3. That is the valency is 3. And see, if we take Ca plus 2, this is what? Calcium ion, and Zn plus 2, this is zinc ion. Now Fe plus 2, this is called ferrous ion, and Cu plus 2, this is called cupric ion. And here one more, the after silver you can write Cu plus 1. This is cuprous ion, and this is cupric ion. Now see, if you take Al plus 3, this is aluminium trivalent, and Fe plus 3, this is what? Ferric ion. Okay, so these are the some cations. And one more, see, monovalent ion here, one more, NH4 plus, this is called ammonium ion. So these are the some cations. How many? See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. These are 12 cations. Now I will give the list of anions here. See, anion. First is Cl minus, this is chloride ion. Br minus, this is bromide, and I minus, this is called iodide. COH minus, this is called hydroxide, and HCO3 minus, this is bicarbonate ion. Then CO3 minus, this is carbonate, and here this is NO3 minus, this is nitrate, and NO2 minus, this is called nitrite, and SO4 minus 2, this is called sulfate ion, and PO4 minus 3, this is called phosphate ion, this is called phosphate ion. Okay, now see, that is Cr2O7 minus 2, this is a dichromate ion. And see one any more, phosphate, sulfate, nitrate. Okay, and okay, so these are the some anions. So we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. So these are the sufficient to write the chemical formula in the 10th standard. Okay, first you have to bind this all the anions and cations with their names and with their valency also. Understood? Now we will see how to write the chemical formula by using this cations and ions. Just write down. Okay, now see how to write the chemical formula. Again we will go back to our activity. In the first activity, what we have done, that is calcium oxide that is lying dissolved in the water, and we are getting what? Calcium hydroxide. So how to write calcium oxide and calcium hydroxide, okay, and sodium sulfate and barium chloride. Okay, first we will see sodium hydroxide. How to write the sodium hydroxide? Sodium hydroxide. See here, sodium means what? Na plus. Hydroxide means what? OH minus. We have to combine this one. See, what is the valency of this sodium irrespective of plus or minus? Just write the combining capacity of this one is 1. Here this is minus means what? Minus 1. Here plus means plus 1. Here also valency 1. So you have to write the valency of hydroxide, see, below the cation, and the valency of cation you have to write below the anion. Now if you write like this, see, Na 1, and here this is OH. This is what? OH is not a single atom, this is a group of atoms, so we have to take in the bracket. This is 1, but 1 same, so you can write like this, sodium hydroxide NaOH. So when the number is same, then we have to cut, then you will get the sodium hydroxide. For example, see, calcium hydroxide. How to write? Calcium hydroxide. Calcium means what? Ca plus 2. Hydroxide means what? OH minus. Here the valency is what? 2. So you have to write 2. The hydroxide ion is what? 1. So very simple. You have to write that the valency of anion under the cation and the valency of cation under the anion. See here calcium Ca1. Okay. Here OH is group of atoms. You have to take in the bracket. And here it is what? 2. This is what? Calcium hydroxide. So need not write this one. Directly write CaOH twice. This is the what? Calcium hydroxide. Okay. Okay. Next, see the third problem. For example, sodium sulfate. How to write sodium sulfate? So sodium means what? Na plus, and here sulfate means SO4 minus 2. Here the valency means 1, here the valency is 2. So you have to write the valency of anion under the cation, the valency of cation under the anion. See here, sodium is single atom, so you can write Na2. So SO4 is not a atom, it is a group of atoms. Take in the bracket. So here 1. So you can write this Na2SO4. Okay. So this is the third problem. So for example, fourth, calcium oxide. How to write? See here, calcium means Ca plus 2, oxide means O, this is minus 2. So the valence is 2, here valence is 2. So you can write here Ca2O2. So both are same digits, so just cut it and directly write calcium oxide. Okay. So this is the writing the formula based on anion and cation. You can write, see, in this class I gave the around 12 cations and 11 anions. So take one anion. For example, if you take the calcium, so combine the calcium with OH, calcium hydroxide. Combined with chloride, calcium chloride, calcium hydroxide, calcium bromide, calcium sulfate, calcium nitrate, calcium phosphate, calcium nitrite, calcium nitride. Whatever you can want, you can write it by using the same method. Understood? I will give some more examples. First write it. Okay, now see, I am taking the magnesium here, that is magnesium plus 2, and I want to prepare magnesium sulfate. So what is the sulfate here? See, SO4 minus 2. 2 same, so you can directly see valence is 2, valence is 2. 2 get cancelled, directly combine magnesium sulfate. For example, magnesium phosphate. Phosphate means PO4 minus 3. See, here valence is 3, here valence is 2. 2 you have to write here, 3 under magnesium. Now you will get, see, Mg3. PO4 means it is a group of atoms in the bracket. This is 2. This is a magnesium phosphate. For example, if you want to write aluminium sulfate. Aluminium means what? Al plus 3. Sulfate means what? SO4 minus 2. So here the valency of aluminium is 3. Valence of sulfate is 2. So that valency of anion you have to write under the cation and the valence of cation under the anion. So you are getting, see, Al2. So this is the group of atom SO4 in the bracket and this is valence is 3. This is called aluminium sulfate. Are you getting my point? For example, if you want to ferric sulfate. Ferric means Fe plus 3. Sulfate means SO4 minus 2. Now you understood directly. See, 2 right over here and 3 here. So directly you will get Fe2 SO4 thrice. This is what? Ferric. This is called what? Ferric sulfate. Okay. Now if you want to write ferrous, so here ferrous means Fe plus 2 and here what? SO4 minus 2. So both valences are same. Directly you can combine FeSO4. This is called ferrous sulfate. Understood? This is writing the chemical formula. Okay? Understood? So guys, hope so you understood this chapter, that is the chemical equation and chemical reaction. Like my lecture, please subscribe my YouTube channel SK Chemistry Academy and please like and share my videos. And don't miss my upcoming video. In the second video I explain how to balance the chemical equation. This is the part 1 and in the part 2 I will explain how to balance the chemical equation. Then our chapter will complete in that video. Don't miss the upcoming video also. Okay? Thank you.